come back, there's a ticket on your van. And I don't think
Because the taxi stand on the public street is not designated for an association. It's designated for licensed taxis. Whether it makes a difference what association you're a part of.
I'm a part of the airport.
All right, let the executive director of the Taxi Cab Commission address it.
I think I had a discussion with you a little bit earlier. We recognize the fact that it is a taxi stand. You explained to me that you made a run from the airport or from Frederickstead and you bring some people up to Christiansted. You know, just a minute. You now wants to park on the taxi stand until these people come back to you, which could be an hour, it could be 2 hours. I suggested to you that as long as you are in the taxi stand, if an individual or individuals come to you and say taxi, you can't tell them no. You will have to go with those people, and what happened to the people that you had, when they come, somebody else would go with them. You cannot park on the taxi stand waiting for somebody to come and refusing fares while on the stand. You cannot turn off your sign says off duty and be on the taxi stand. You can't. And if you do, we will ticket you.
I've been running taxi from 1974. And I've been in Montserrat, I've been in Antigua. And the only place that I have seen taxi drivers treated as dogs is on this island. Any other island that you go on, a taxi is treated as human being. But here, we are treated as dogs. We are nobody. When you come around traffic, we are nobody. Right? So, and if I'm traveling with the governor, and I'm waiting here for the governor for 15 minutes, and someone come to me and say, well, you need a taxi. I said to them, I cannot go because I'm just waiting for somebody. There's nothing since I'm a taxi driver, that cannot happen. You know were telling me that I cannot tell them no. Because if you are occupied for a few minutes, you can leave your passenger that you have there to go with somebody else somewhere. But you are telling me no, that I cannot tell them I cannot go with them because I'm waiting for somebody.
So the law says you cannot park on the taxi stand and refuse fares. You can't.
But you're occupied, you're just waiting. Where should you park?
There is a solution. Nothing stops you, for example, if you went into Church Street and parked and gave your guests your phone number and said, call me when you're ready, and you get them, because you could be in Church Street and you're not available for hire because you're engaged in service. He's just describing what the law is. If you're in a taxi stand is designated for folks to come and get taxi service. And so if a person walks up and says to a taxi in the stand, I need a fare, he's saying you can't refuse and says, well, I'm waiting here for someone else. If you just moved out of the taxi stand and waited somewhere else where it is not a designated taxi stand, you can accomplish exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish. You don't have to leave your guest that's hired you to make a run and that you're gonna be with them for several hours. In the taxi stand, you're making yourself available for taxi service based on request. Somebody walks up to a taxi stand to get a taxi, the taxi have to take them. If you were across the street or out of the taxi stand, you can accomplish exactly the same thing you're accomplishing and you don't get a ticket. That's what the executive director is explaining to you. We're not treating you like a dog.
Well, I'm not saying that you personally...
Not me personally. I mean, the government isn't treating you like a dog.
But they have no respect for taxi drivers.
Okay, all right.
May I?
Yes.
It's simple mathematics. What we're talking about here is cooperation between taxi drivers. You have Sunshine, they work on the pier. You have the independent taxi drivers who work outside, because you always find that you always meet tourists who want to come outside and do something else. So Ms. Brooks fix it in a way where Sunshine, they got the 10, the 11 parking over there, which he was just talking about. Give me a little break here, right? And the independent taxi drivers that could go almost any place. When they come up, she allowed them to park in the taxi stand. Because when we drop off the people, then we have nothing else to do. So if somebody come and say they want a taxi, one of us could take off with them. We have 4 or 5 people who are always on the taxi stand. When these guys come up with the people, they don't leave till 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So if they leave their taxi there, Tiger and these other guys that work down, they cannot work. And that is all the problem that we are having. Taxi drivers who are not cooperating with each other. Simple as ABC. And we have that problem for the longest while. And that's one of the reasons why Ms. Brooks said, look, if you park there, we're going to ticket you. You have your parking across the 10. We don't go over there and park. We don't go over in the 10 parking and park. We come over here and park, and if we don't find a parking, we go elsewhere. So it's a problem between taxi drivers. It has nothing to do with the government. That's my opinion.
Governor, I want to go back to the handicap. Church Street. There's an entrance right there to enter into Government House. Queen Cross Street, sorry. Queen Cross. There's an entrance for Government House right there. You get 2 spots right there for the handicaps, and they can ride right into Government House. But you take the one, rather than taking the taxi stand, you take the 2 right there in
Taxi stand already. You just said it's there already.
No, you.
You're not hearing it.
Wait. Back up. From
Told me there are 3 of them in this block.
on the other block to the.
I said I am not going to take, there will be no additional handicap spaces taken in the taxi stand. I may move one of them from there and put it here on this corner.
We're trying to avoid that, Governor.
We have to cooperate with the physically challenged community. They're a part of our community. Our laws require it.
Oh, so you're not coming into.
I'm going right here on this corner, on the end.
You
Right
don't
here on the end.
understand what you're
Meaning then that your taxi stand, you will not lose any of your taxi spaces. If you, now let me put a qualifier here. I go in by what Pat said. I don't know that the taxi stand goes to the library.
Okay.
But assuming that Pat is correct, everybody.
He is
But
correct.
I didn't say he's not. I didn't say he's not. I said I don't know. And I'm quick to tell people I don't know. But assuming that that is the case, in the taxi stand, there are 3 handicap spaces. There are 2 back to back and then 1 up by the library. I said I will move the one here by across from the church and put it on the corner and make that one back available for the taxi drivers. So you won't have 4 spaces in the taxi stand. You will still have 3 spaces. But I have to give someone clear, someone who's physically challenged, clear and level access to Government House on a level platform. That is not an exit, I'm sorry, that is not an entrance on Queen Cross Street. That's an emergency exit.
Okay.
That's not an exit. When you come in, when you go downstairs, before you leave, just go around and you'll see the signs and the bells and everything there. That's not an entrance. That's nothing but an emergency exit if there's a problem in Government House. But we had the Special Olympics, and we've had other folks here at Government House. We had the event here for the senior citizens, and it is a serious challenge, and you can't have folks with those challenges getting out on inclines and that type of stuff to get into the building. And so I don't know where you all get this stuff about we're taking 2, we're not even taking 2. But if you have 3, I'm simply going to move 1 lower down.
Bring it down.
You'll have all your spaces that you have. Physically challenged folks take taxis too.
Governor,
Yes.
those spaces we are talking about, they are not even marked out as the taxi stand. The parking where the guys are, from Queen Cross Street down here marked as a taxi stand. Those are the places that they didn't mark them. They have them as local parking for people.
We will make sure the one there has a taxi stand sign.
You put a taxi stand in it.
In the one there.
But how about giving us the whole thing? I mean, it belongs to us. I mean, and if
We have to coexist in a limited space. We have to coexist in a limited space. No one ever wants to. I understand what you're saying, but we have to coexist in a limited space. And you and I know that there are very busy days where you'll see all of the spaces with taxis here, but on most occasions, this corner is empty. I'm going to move all of the police officers and cars that park there. I'm going to prohibit them from parking in the spaces so you won't have that obstruction anymore. But I need a space for the physically challenged community, and I'm going to use one on this corner without taking an additional space out of the taxi stand.
Well, one more question before we finish that. Now you put a handicap parking in the taxi stand, right? So now I'm handicapped.
You have 3 of them there.
Hold on, I'm handicapped.
Yes.
And
What part are you handicapped?
I'm just.
You mean okay?
A reference. We're trying a reference.
Yes.
I'm a handicapped guy.
Yes.
And I come and I park there.
Yes.
Another person come now, but this person didn't want to go to government house. How are we going to fix this handicap parking only for government house?
Well, they don't have to go to government house. They don't have to. You could give me all of the suppositions, right? But if they are coming to government house, they don't have the access. It's very difficult for them.
Yeah, because I'm saying if the handicapped guy come and park there and he gone to work, because usually people got handicap thing and gone to work and leave the car in the taxi stand all day. So what's going to happen to the guy now, the handicapped man who want to come to government house? That's a simple question. How we going?
Governor, I think we could discuss this a little more, get some more understanding in this. I like to help the handicaps. We have to assist the handicaps.
We're gonna move on, but I said to you, you said to me that this is your taxi stand, right? And you said to me, there are 3 handicap spaces in the taxi stand. And I said, well, thank you for your generosity. And I said, there will be no more than 3 spaces in the taxi stand, right? So that means you're not losing a space. You will not be. All right, well.
We gave away those already.
Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your generosity. You want everyone in the community to be able to use your taxis, right? Okay. Any other questions concern Mr. Mapp? You have anything you want to add for the Port Authority side? Any questions for, yes, go right ahead, please.
It's not really a question, it's just a comment that I want to make in regards to the parking on King Street and Church Street. All I want us to do is work together. The director, Ms. Hodge, and my good friend, Mr. Cedric, could meet with us, and let's discuss the way forward to getting us the parking on Church Street. As long as we get parking on Church Street, there is not a need for any of our drivers to park on King Street on cruise ship days. But if you don't provide any parking for us, we're going to have to park someplace on cruise ship days. You cannot build jails and don't build no schools. Find some place for us to park the taxi, and then when you find that place for us, if we don't park in there and we park on King Street, then you give us a ticket. That's what I'm simply trying to say.
Well, it sounded like Ms. Brooks had worked out something with you. The solution to what you're saying is very doable. The question is, we have to figure out the detail, meaning that if we have tourists staying in the hotels downtown and they park their rental cars there, we don't want to get into the business of Sunday morning towing tourists away and giving them tickets, because we're killing 6 and trying to help 6. So we're not making any progress. The question is the signage. And you could say on Sundays, no parking from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. in these 4 spaces.
Or at least 10.
I'm sorry?
About 10, because we have about 40. No, we have about 40 buses, taxis.
We
working.
will not be able to accommodate. We cannot eviscerate the town on a cruise ship day. I mean, we have folks coming to church, we have people in hotels. We're willing to work with you, but again, like I said, see, it's not going to be kumbaya. We're going to agree to disagree. We cannot, the government cannot set all parking in Christiansted in this area just for taxis on a cruise ship day, because there are other commerce that take place in the town as well. And it doesn't make good policy to completely obliterate one segment of the economy trying to help another. You must understand that. So I'm saying that yes, we can segment some spaces, whatever that number is, I don't know. The police commissioner and the commissioner of public works will figure it out. But I'm saying that the signage can be done in such a way that people know that Sunday mornings that the car has to not, it can't be in these spaces for a specific time. Now, if you're asking me to give you the whole of Church Street, the commissioner is not going to do that. And I won't direct the commissioner to do that. Another thing that may happen is that in consideration of your concern about the handicap space, maybe we will take one of the parking spaces on Church Street and designate that one space as a full-time space for a taxi stand, so that you still have not lost. You're remaining right there. Now he asked for two. You see why they had created divorce court? But I say that as a joke. But I mean, but maybe that's an alternative to provide, to give up that extra spaces, to take one of the spaces close to where your phone and your station is and designate one of those spaces as a full-time taxi spot, which will make up for the one space we can take off of King. I still won't make 4 spaces. It will still be 3 spaces, meaning in a total taxi stand. All right? Does that work out a little better? Is that?
Yes, it does, yeah.
Pat, you answering for you or no?
One thing before we leave. Why is it that the police officers just pass people parking in the taxi stand, and they will come down there and harass us and say, look, move from there, but they pass 5 and 6 cars in the taxi stand.
What do you mean, police officers will tell you to come out the taxi stand?
No, you know, sometimes when everybody park in the taxi stand, we don't have any parking, so we go in front of the taxi, so when somebody move, we come around.
Okay.
But you have like 4 or 5 cars, just ordinary pedestrian cars, in the taxi stand, and they pass everything.
Well, we'll ask the police chief to, we'll ask the police chief or the zone commander to be sensitive about that, you know, they have to enforce the law, and if people park there, I mean, we get a little extra revenue.
Yeah, we get more tax. We get more tax than the people that park in the taxi stand.
Thank you. All right, any other comments or questions? This is not going to be our last meeting, particularly after November, when the folks from Disney are here and they start, you know, they come to do the assessment. I believe we're going to arrange a meeting with the taxi associations or the taxi industry. Because I have to differentiate the industry from the associations, but with the taxi industry, so that you can get into that conversation with them, and they will share with you the issues on transportation and service. All right?
When I think that the merchants in town, we do a lot to help this industry.
Well, yes. All of the groups. Okay? One final, two final, one final. Wait for the mic.
Are we still going to have the training for the taxi drivers in September? Ms. Frondel told me that we were supposed to have some training, so I'm just asking.
Actually, we are working with Chant, and we're combining. It's going to be a 3-part series. It's customer service, history and culture, and also looking at business development, so that giving you some of the trends and how you can take opportunities in terms of marketing as a business. So it will not be in September. We're looking at November, right before season. Okay?
Yes, Assistant Director Mapp, maybe you could help me, and if Down in Frederickstead, we don't have any public bathrooms that I know of. Like here in Christianstead, we have the one for the National Park Service. I noticed the bathroom at the Port Authority will be locked unless there's cruise ships. If there's a reason why it can't be open, then government, is there something we could provide down there? Because when we do island tours and we stop down there for people, they want to walk around like for an hour and stuff like that, and there's no way to go use a bathroom other than ask a business to do so.
Well, one of the reasons why they're locked, and other than cruise ship days, is because the simple reason is that they're vandalized. We've come back there and found those things where all of the commodes and sinks have been taken out of there. So the Port Authority is not, by statute, responsible for public restrooms. So the decision was made long ago by the board that those bathrooms are there for the cruise ship passengers. We can't keep putting out money to repair and replace fixtures in the bathroom that people take, so they're locked. And until the governing board changes that policy, they will remain locked on other than cruise ship days or special events, because we do open them when there's special event days in Frederickstead.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
So, okay, if that's the reason why, say now, go over to the government now, is there something that could be done for that?
First of all, it's the government who built them as part of the Frederickstead Economic Revitalization Project. But if the government builds another set and leave them open, they're not going to be any less vandalized. This is the conversation we have to have with our community, because we're doing things to help our industry, our businesses, our community, and we have folks who don't care. And they believe that they could just take them and the government's going to keep spending money, and that's just not going to work. We're not going to put porta pots there, and no, I don't know of any plans to build another set of bathrooms that will remain open, that will suffer no less the vandalism and the theft than that one did. I remember as a senator sponsoring money to completely redo the bathrooms at Kramer's Park, and within 6 months, all the bowls and sinks were gone. I mean, it's part of the challenge of the community in which we live, and until we start doing differently, we have these challenges. I don't know what the answer is, Warren, but no, we don't have any plans to build another one, and we can't assign security to the bathrooms to make sure that they're not vandalized.
Commissioner Dowdy, the visitor center on top of the dock. I know they have bathrooms. Is that just for your staff, or is that allowed to use for anybody who is it open to the public or someone who's doing a tour? If a taxi guy can say, well, okay, I'm doing a tour with these tourists, whatever. I know that's supposed to be like a visitor center, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, that is a shared space with Port Authority, and we are manning it only when there is a cruise ship in port. We'll keep a greeter there for the straggler visitor, but from a cost perspective, it is not efficient for us to duplicate phone, internet service on a long-term basis. So that will be occupied, and for greeters when we have cruise ships in town. And Port Authority, and I believe Customs, CBP is in that building as well. And security equipment, right. We're going to, and that's one of the moves that we're looking at in terms of cost savings, so that we can enhance the experience on days when we do have visitors in, and move to real entertainment. And it is one of the things that we're looking at with our visitor experience plan. And not just for the cruise ship docks, but also for the airport. In fact, I spoke to our team just today about enhancing the experience at the airport with the greeters, and making sure that people are visible, knowledgeable, and certainly friendly, and so people have an experience.
I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for coming. I'm sorry that more members of the industry did not come out to this meeting. We will have additional meetings as we follow through and move to the next phase, but we wanted to hear your concerns, and we're taking them into consideration, and we will make adjustments and change to deal with some of the challenges. We can't deal with all of the challenges because, as you can hear from the discussion, some of the challenges are just at a point where we just simply can't. We have to have some attitudinal changes in the community to be able to address some of the issues. I want to thank the Commissioner, the Assistant Executive Director, from the Property Manager from the Port Authority, our Executive Director for the Taxi Cab Commission. By the way, we're going to be asking the legislature to provide administrative funds for the Taxi Cab Commission's operation so that they don't feel the need to give out citations and tickets in large penalty sums to fund the operations of the Taxi Cab Commission. That's not a way to fund a government operation, so we're going to change that. It doesn't mean that they're going to stop having ticket books. It just means that they won't be trying to fund the Taxi Cab Commission on the backs of the taxi cab industry. That's just a horrible thing to do. So we're going to change that as well. So I want to thank you all for coming, and thank you for your patience. Again, we're here as partners. We're going to agree, and then we're going to disagree at other times, right? So thank you all, and have a wonderful evening, and please get home safe. I believe there's some refreshments